you need help.
No, I think we're good. Well, good morning, everybody. So this is mostly an administrative weekday. I mean, a meeting. Well, we have voting today, and we're getting ready for the 2 Earth Days. And
I left the link to the FAQ that we left off.
and the FAQ, yeah. And then there's a ton of stuff from the national leadership meeting that I put in there. A whole bunch of stuff to go over in there. So we'll get to that, but they hired a new person, and the new person is
They hired for.
they hired a person. Yeah, that's the right way to say it. And he no, it's all been like us, just volunteers, right? And they actually hired a person, and he's pretty gun ho, so they put a lot of new things in place. So our money, our member rates at work. You better join. That's right. Bernie, we need you. Bernie, we need your money. Without you, we can't pay for the guy. John, I don't think there's any newbies here, so thank you for hosting us again.
I was going to say something. Oh, if anybody needs the charge, we can turn on the charger for you.
All right, very good. I saw the boss out front. Is he going to join us today too?
Boss is right here.
All right.
Brian.
Hey, Brian, how are you? So, yeah, so thank you.
Update on Thunderstruck?
Yeah. Any update on Thunderstruck?
What's that?
Any update on
He's
Thunderstruck?
telling me he's never here.
Any new news?
Well, I'm excited about Nissan Leafs again. I bought a Chinese aftermarket battery pack, 50 kilowatt hours, and put it into a 2013 Leaf. Wow, that had 4-mile range, and now it's got 224 miles.
Whoa.
No problem here.
How much
No
was?
problem so far, yeah.
Holy
Ran it
crap.
through a few cycles. I took it up to my place up in Washington. We saw 5-degree weather,
Holy crap.
and I didn't charge it. So, yeah, it's very good. Maybe 400 or 500 miles.
Wow.
Commercially, or sitting Brian do it commercially? Brian or John do it commercially?
Yeah, it's a pretty easy, quick swap. The other thing is, gave us his beautiful blue 2011 Nissan Leaf, and we just put a battery pack in it from a 2013. And so now it has it. Now it has it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yesterday, it's still on the lift. All we have to do is put the cover back on. How much battery pack? The 50 kilowatt battery pack.
Hello.
With shipping and everything's about $7,000.
Why is that bad at all?
For replacement?
It's about 10 or 12.
Yeah, I haven't looked at one.
I got mine for $0.
Under warranty, yeah.
So I don't know if you guys can hear all this, but what Brian has brought up is that he's bought a Chinese battery pack for a Nissan Leaf, and he just recently upgraded a Leaf. And now the Leaf, 2013 Leaf, has more than 200 miles of range on it. So it's really just fantastic.
So the price was.
Yep. I do have a number.
Okay.
I bought the price of EVs have come way down.
Yeah.
As everybody knows.
I mean, older EVs.
For used EVs or even some new EVs, but the ones that I was getting at the wrecking yard that were crash EVs, the price were up pretty high, and now they've come down quite a bit. So we're buying those again. I have 1, 2, 3 of them at present that I'm pulling pretty good battery packs out of. So I could do a battery swap in about 2 hours, and and probably just charge a couple $1,000 for like an 80-mile range. Wonderful for somebody that's back down to 10 or 20 miles range. Have kind of a in-town usable car.
I don't know if you heard that online, but what Brian just said was that he's been buying, he can buy the price of crashed EVs is coming down as well. And he just mentioned he thinks he can upgrade a used vehicle for about $2,000 to $3,000 with a crashed battery and a new and a old rolling stock. So,
Are they
okay,
having a hard time hearing us?
I don't know if they are or not, but
How are people doing hearing us out
you
there?
guys can hear us?
Ellen says so.
Ish-esque.
Oh, hey.
Okay, let's go to the next slide.
No.
Let's see. Let's start online today. Maybe Russ, how are you doing, and how do you get around?
I'm Russ Wigglesworth in Petaluma. I get around on my 2015 Kia Soul, and I'm still getting 90 miles on a charge.
All right.
I know. Linda, how about you? Linda, are you there? Let's go to David Harris.
Yeah, well, I'm actually driving my Bolt to come out there. It's fully charged here at the 90% it'll go to, and 150. I still get emails about, filing a lemon law, so I don't know. They claim they get about $10,000 usually settlement out of Chevrolet. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Linda, can you hear us? Linda can't hear us. How about you, Ellen?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Ellen. I'm in Santa Rosa. I drive a 2017 Chevy Bolt that I absolutely love. And my mom drives it sometimes too, and she loves it as well. So we love Bolts.
That's awesome. Hey, Cecilia.
Hello,
Hey.
Cecilia Sullivan, President Emeritus of NBEAA. I currently drive a Model 3 and live in Mendocino County.
All right.
That's what you say now, a Model 3, we don't see a Tesla Model 3.
I can talk now.
All right. Hey, Linda, what do you drive?
Oh, 22 Bolt, which I do love. And I'm getting around to it. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to buy that little charger attachment because I want to actually drive out of the county for about the first time in 2 years and go to something down in Santa Clara. And I know that I don't necessarily need the Tesla charger, but they're usually plentiful. Ooh, and I said the word Tesla.
David Heacock, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Having a lot of technical problems this morning.
Yeah.
Might help to use the right computer. Anyway, I kind of drive a combination of 2007 Saturn Vue hybrid, and I have my 1985 Avante, which I'm still trying to figure out what the problem is with radio interference. Thunderstruck's been giving me some good ideas, so I've been making modifications on that. So as long as it's sunny out, I'll try to drive that.
So the vehicle is fine, but you pick up EV noises on your AM radio?
No. It's there's no radio in it. It looks like RF interference actually will cut the throttle out on the car totally.
Oh, geez.
I could test it next to cell towers and thought for some time that it was cell tower or cell frequencies, but I about a week ago I drove by a guy's house that has a ham radio. It looks like ham radios, and people have been telling me that it's probably lower frequencies RF interference, and the car just cut out. And I look around and I see all his antennas and stuff. So I left it there, walked home, and I went back in about 2 hours, and it was nothing wrong with it. It ran fine. So we're trying to figure out why that does. I probably have the only electric car in the world that cuts the throttle out totally.
You mean wrapping tin foil around it? Or, I mean, I'm thinking of the Tempest, simplified Tempest things that the military uses. They use copper nets.
Yeah, I've tried so many You know, these beads you put on the lines, I've tried encasing the controller. I've tried wrap materials that are supposed to get rid of that. I've covered half the car with tin foil, and you name it, I've tried it. And there's got to be one specific thing. It doesn't have a radio, and it's got to be one specific thing that is having a problem. We're working on maybe it's a grounding issue.
Mm.
And so I'm doing some changes there. That's possible. So
You've been at it for 5
nobody
years, and
recommended
after
that.
5 years have passed, you'll find the loose wire.
Say that again.
I said, you've been at this for 5 years. After 5 years, pretty much so, you'll find the loose wire.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Still working on it. If that everything would be perfect if I could figure that one thing out, which is kind of dramatic.
Yeah. Well, you should move to Sebastopol. Everything over here comes with a tinfoil hat, so you're good. You know.
Oh,
Yeah, our city council is someone who's what do they call? I call it paranoid of electronic frequencies, which she must not know that as she just simply walks down Main Street, that every business on Main Street has either external or internal Wi-Fi, and if she'd be not too afraid and take like a cell phone, she could see all the networks just walking down Main Street. I mean, my salon, which is on
You're right.
uses a computer and Wi-Fi as their central payment, and
Yeah. All right. We have. All right. Brad, is anybody else online? Did I miss anybody? Brad, how about
Oh,
you?
yeah. Hi, I'm Brad Morrison. I drive a 2004 Honda Civic Hybrid, got, I don't know, 195,000 miles or so. My housing situation is more stable. I would reconsider buying a used electric vehicle. I am still interested in the idea of a used vehicle dealership that specializes in electric vehicles. And as far as I know, there isn't one in the entire North Bay region. So if anyone would like to discuss that further with me, that'd be great.
All right. Well, all right.
Hi, I'm Sonia. Drive a Model 3. It has 48,000 miles, so if you could do 8,000 miles a year, works out. I got it just at the time when the company I was working for decided to really fully telecommute. So I thought I'd be commuting a lot and tons and tons of miles on it.
Right.
So I wonder if this is the new version of what working people do. And some people have to sit in traffic a lot. So,
Yeah. And companies all around the country and the world are saying, come back to the office. Right?
Yeah.
You know, downtowns everywhere clamoring for that lunch menu, that lunch business. You know.
Yeah, but battery degradation tends to be really more on a yearly basis than it does on a mileage basis. So that's been my experience.
Oh,
in terms of like, if you're gonna lose 2% a year, it's happening every year.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a good experience. Yeah, I think I got like 5%. Do the math again. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Bernie Dolan, and I have a 3 as well. And next week I am going skiing in well, I'm not but I'm joining my friends who are skiing in Park City.
Oh.
And so I've got a 2-day drive, and I'm going to really give the autopilot a good work.
All right.
You know, I've done this several times already. The autopilot gets better every year, and I think, I mean, I go almost all the way here without.
Wow.
And it's just
you know, you get on I-80, and the speed limit's 80 miles an hour.
Yes.
And,
Are you serious?
It is in Utah. In Utah, right? Yeah, down in the middle of nowhere.
Legally.
Yeah.
The trucks are good. So you don't want those guys passing.
I don't want my truck on that road. I was driving down to Tucson once, 95 miles an hour. Semi-fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw 80 or 85 in Texas going from Dallas to Awesome.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, well,
He's,
all right.
he's switched up a lot.
Well, that's the problem. So you got, it's
You gotta draft the truck.
Yeah.
Brian, how about you? How do you get around?
Well, the last couple of months, I've been using my electric tractor.
Oh, did you get one from Ideanomics before they went, or you made one?
I built it.
Of course, yeah. Okay.
I've taken 12 loads to the dump.
Wow.
So I'm using my tractor to load up my little dump truck.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool.
And it's solar powered, right? So, are you putting it in?
Yeah, I'm putting it in. No, but, so I got a place up in Washington, outside of Volcano that I've been working on. We've got things up there. That's the way. A lot of tractor and a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I've been doing. Smaller up there, I can get all of this. The water.
Oh, wow. Put it in the batteries and bring it down here. Where?
Let's see. How many coins is that to get that power?
What's the electric utility there? What's the electric utility?
Yeah, something like that,
Yeah, is it a municipal or
Inland power.
inland power for 6 cents a watt?
We got a super deal with buying it like a bulk.
You can also get it even cheaper for like about 3.5 cents if you buy it up in bulk.
Whoa.
You can buy like 100 kilowatt hours at a time. And you buy it for the month and you just carry over.
Oh, I
You don't use it all.
yeah. Use it or lose it.
Is
Right.
there,
Nuclear, they're cheap. When I was an architect, used software to analyze the populations of their building nuclear plants.
Yeah, right.
It's all, hydro, and they do have a waste facility where I take my trash that they actually burn it. And make electricity in half.
Wow.
yeah, no, surprise there is a little bit.
Mm-mm.
That's,
Yeah, I bet you there is. Yeah, I bet
well, I
you
mean,
there
that's
is.
very cheap electricity.
How about you, John?
So, yeah, I work at Thunderstruck with Brian, and I drive a 1985 Toyota pickup that my daughter and I, Ellen, and I converted. Had lots of Thunderstruck parts.
All right. Is it badge Thunderstruck or something?
Not all the parts are.
Gary?
Today I drove the Kia
All right.
6. We passed it once, and
Hmm.
it's more range. Time goes on.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed that too. Depends on what you're doing.
Kind of blown away because and I bet over 20,000 miles. Yeah. And then, he has over 20,000 miles.
Search up the electron. Yep.
Is there a question?
Lange Zeit, seitdem hier gekommen bist. Ah.
There we go.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a great car. I have not bought the adapter yet, but we have used it on all the trips.
Yeah.
We don't even think about the fact that it's electric. So we drive. And it charges so fast.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Welcome.
So,
Welcome.
is that 800?
Mike?
Is that doing study?
You made it in person.
800 volts. Volts? Yeah, so it charges about 3% charge. All this. 12 minutes. I can't.
That's not enough
even
time to
have a
do
cup of coffee.
That's what I was
Car
saying.
says,
Yeah.
you gotta unplug it. Doing it now.
Exactly.
Sometimes I.
Mike, how about you?
Charger so that it heat.
Well, at some point.
So I got around on a
Hold on a second.
diesel train from Martinez to Truckee a couple weekends ago.
Oh.
Nice. Perfect. It's President's Day weekend. Sometimes you're on the freeway and you get the view of all the cars backed up while the train gets to zoom past. So
Oh, that's cool. It's a good way to go.
good weekend out.
Yeah, it's a good way to
Is
go.
it Amtrak?
Amtrak.
Good morning.
Try the smart train. It's the same
Who are you and how do you get
all
around?
the time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you guys introduce yourself?
We're
No,
doing
it's
it
been
now.
on the front of the back row.
You're up. It's you.
It's me.
It's you.
I'm Peter Simkowski. I'm the sparrow.
Ah.
All
You
right.
know, I'm building the only electric car that makes sense. You know, like when I think, you know, since I'll give me like half a minute. You know, it's like what we're doing is we're buying a vehicle that seats 7 people, weighs close to, 2,000. Goes from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds to go to the grocery store to buy a carton of milk. That's who we are.
All right.
You know, when we first started this year, people were still building their own electric cars, and they kind of set their parameters. Now we have to buy a super sports car.
That's
The Sparrow is not one of those.
Well, the Nissan Leaf I accept.
Yeah.
It's only 130 amps.
Right.
That pulls 1,500.
Oh, crap. Good morning. Welcome.
Just football.
Peter.
This Peter. All right.
Is that your whole name?
That's right. Just following
Well,
Peter. Yeah.
Stefano has a Ferrari, a Morgan with the Chevrolet Corvette motor in it, and a Struzzo man pickup.
All right.
All converted to.
Oh, yeah, right.
No,
No. Oh, no, okay. Okay.
All right. So I'm Dominic, and well, I was driving my bike this morning, and then I went by Pacific Supply and got a 6-penny nail buried in my tire. So my wife rescued me in my pickup truck and dropped me off. And,
The gas pickup truck.
the diesel.
Yeah.
The diesel pickup truck. Yeah. She dropped me off in the back, Jerry. Nobody saw
Those fumes roll over.
it. Oh, it gets 28 miles per gallon. That 4-wheel drive gets 28 miles per gallon.
So is that where we're supposed to start parking now as 3 drivers?
What's that?
Yeah,
In the back? In the back? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. No, we're going to put you in a fireproof container. All right. Good enough. Did I miss anybody? All right. Let's go back to the slides. So, Cecilia, did we lose Cecilia? No, right in the middle.
Driving.
Cecilia's driving.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she's on. Okay. What else do we have? Chapter business. So I think we cover this every month. We'll cover it again. So our mission is educate and advocate for the rapid adoption of electric vehicles. So I kind of like to keep things centered on that thought process. not the tinfoil hat conversation I started, those sorts of things, but in general, that's what we should be kind of working towards. You'll get we have a website, NBEAA.org, which is how you got to this meeting most likely. NBEAA Club email is sent by Jerry 3 times a month. So if you're not getting it, reach out to Jerry. And Jerry, I think you are also the guy that approves the discuss issue. So you should.
No, it doesn't. As far as
that's automatic?
Did not require
An approval? Okay.
You want to join discussion?
You just join it. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll figure that out. And then we have a Facebook group, facebook.com groups /NBEAA. So that is how you find us. And today we are going to be doing some, well, we'll get to that. All right. Previous meeting access, all of the meetings going back for several years are available on YouTube at NBEAA, and the PDF of this slide presentation is also on our website in previous meetings. So pretty simple stuff. I mentioned this one. Club is really just a blast 3 times a month, before and after and close to the meeting. Discuss is anybody can join and write to that group. It's just a big chat box. So you have to opt in though. So if you're feeling like you're not hearing enough traffic, you need to opt in to discuss. You're not automatically enrolled. And so anyway, that resulted. Anyway, I'll reveal that resulted in me blasting a bunch of stuff to Club versus knowing I needed to opt in to discuss.
Yeah, one thing I'll mention about discuss is I see
often people put things in discussion, would be good articles.
Yes,
To cover.
that's right.
So send them the news as well, otherwise we won't have.
That's right.
I point one other thing out. I sent another message out to the club this month because I represent the club, in the county of Sonoma, and the advisory board, transportation, and there are a number of things coming up. So I sent out a notice and saying that, hey, if you guys have input on public transportation and other issues here in the county, send them to me so that I can bring them up at the meetings. And that's both at the NBC meetings, which I sit on the advisory board there, also on the network management advisory board.
Jerry, is the MTC the same as the RCPA?
No, RCPA is
That's
just
different.
the county.
Okay.
That we have a seat
Okay.
here
Okay.
For the county, and that's RCPA.
Okay.
RCTA.
Okay.
SCTA. Thank
Yeah.
you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
They have the same staff.
Right. They are in the same
They're in the
building.
same.
Yeah, okay.
Same people, because they
Okay.
they decided to save money by having the same staff do both. Okay, so it gets confusing at times. They have two roles. One is for transportation.
Gotta keep
one
that
is
in your
for
head.
general county stuff.
Gotcha.
The other one is I have a seat representing the county with the MTC, and then I have a seat on the Regional Network Management Advisory Group representing the MTC advisory group. So, so three different
Got it.
seats that I have transportation. So any of the thoughts that you have and issues, there's a whole bunch of stuff trying to happen with the new administration. It's all going to slow down and what's starting to speed up.
Right. Right.
Walk around sitting as.
Okay, we go to the next one, I think. So the next one is leadership succession. So we're going to vote on leadership today, and it will make the change next month. So go to the next slide. So we've been talking about this for a few months now. So let's just talk about the roles and who's in those roles now. The president ensures that the monthly meetings occur, leading and delegate club activities. I also, as the president, I've been working a lot on the program side, trying to find speakers and guest speakers, and I work with John to make sure we can meet here when we need to, or work with Brant over at Sonoma Clean Power when we meet there, things like that. The vice president, I guess I'm sitting in that role as well. I assist myself in doing that and supporting club activities. Cecilia continues to do a great job as president emeritus, providing historical knowledge, assisting in club activities. She is leading this year's DEAM event in Ukiah, for example, is assisting in the club activities.
And she does all the web work.
And does all the web work. Yeah.
CTO.
Yes, and that's right. And the CTO, and a excellent marketing person as well. When we got all of she did all the branding for the website. So all the hats and the shirts that we put out, we all did that with Cecilia's input on all the artwork for all that as well. Yeah, just really great stuff. And then Sonia has been the treasurer, facilitating payments and reimbursements. Done a really good job getting involved with National and getting the payments identified as well. Any other things, Sonia, that kind of?
I'm the flag bearer.
The flag bearer, yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
But, and Jerry tends to be the flag hoister.
That's right.
You know, and yeah, so I'm keeping some of our storage. And so this year we might need to be more formal about storage and stuff like that. The easy up is the biggest thing we've got.
Yeah, right.
And that's about it. I think, National is a little bit more organized on their side to provide just more transparency. Nothing's been concerning over there. They pay us on time for little things that we buy. Right. So that's been fine. Yeah, that's good.
And Jerry is currently the secretary, and
I send out 3 messages a month, and if we have a vote or something, I'll send out that stuff too, but that's about as much as the secretary does. It's a great job.
it's a great job.
We should also point out that the intention for the vice president is somebody to take on the role and responsibility of vice president 1 year, and then assume the job the following as president, so that we would rotate through all of us, essentially.
Yeah.
Over time, but we had that problem for 5 years. Alan was president, and nobody else would take over the role. And we tried to divvy up the work. We've done a pretty good job of divvying up the work, so nobody has a major load anymore. So it'd be great if somebody would volunteer to be vice president and take on the role of president next time. It is a requirement that we have officers in order for us to continue to belong to the EVA. If we don't have officers, we can't belong anymore.
Yeah, and just to remind people why the EVA affiliation is important is they provide us with liability insurance. They also, I think in the future, are going to be even better at political advocacy, EV adoption, kind of, messaging, things like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing them grow nationally.
So did anybody say we got to cut out of the membership fees that people pay?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like if you're paying the standard rate, which I think is $50 now.
It's 55. I just paid it.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. We get a certain amount, but if you choose to opt upward to some other amount, we get a little more than that. So it's kind of a sliding scale, and so some of that can affect us.
Does that mean that, because if I remember the numbers correctly, I think Jerry said there's something like about 130 people on the largest Google groups.
And the club
Club
group has
email.
over 130
Yeah.
right now.
And something like 30 or 40 of those are members of the EVA.
That's right. Paying members.
Right, active members.
Does the EVA require a local to be listed for all of those people, or do we possibly have some people on the NBEAA club email group that are members of the EVA but not attached?
They have
to the North Bay.
Because you have to say what chapter. I don't think there's a way of
People
saying I
pick a
belong to
chapter.
no chapter. You have to pick a
Yeah.
chapter.
So
Okay.
say somebody's down in San Rafael, and they just look at the list and go, "Oh, all right, I'll be part of the NBEAA," but they may not come to our meetings or pay attention.
Oh, okay.
We will reach out to anyone who newly joins and write them a nice email. There are certain people who are advocates of the NBEAA and aren't as active.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever written to the EVA and asked how many members are in, the North Bay region?
We have that access all the time.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we have the list all the time, and we get updates every time someone renews. I had forgotten, but we just got like the officers get an update that said, "Linda renewed. Thank you for volunteering to."
But if your question is, do we have a list of all of those people who live in the North Bay who might not belong to this chapter? The answer is no, because you don't have to tell them to vote.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have an address requirement?
I don't think there's an. I don't remember.
Become a member of the EVA?
No, you have to have an email.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could be like, you could just be somebody, Brad, at
Look at
somewhere. Yeah.
Caleb belongs to our chapter. Russ belongs to our chapter.
Oh, okay.
Caleb lives in Southern California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, okay, so there could potentially be members of the EVA that do not belong to the North Bay Electric.
Yeah, Caleb's a good example. He's never lived in the North Bay.
Oh, okay.
But he's a member of our chapter.
He's a
Okay.
member of our chapter.
Meaning his dues percentage gets allocated to.
Yeah.
NBEAA. Okay. Huh.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. I think there's 3 positions up for vote this year, there we go. So there's a couple of rotations coming up. So I put question mark there. So we're going to start with the new officer elections first. We need a treasurer, a secretary, and a vice president. And I think we'll start with the vice president. Do we have anybody who wants to be a VP? Anybody?
Come on, John, it's
Online or in person.
I know you're working, but
Come on, John.
Come on, John.
If you opt in, John, I'll give you a year bonus. We can do this together for 2 years.
Year bonus. I missed
So
that
you'll be
part.
VP for 2 years as opposed to VP then president. That way, how about that? The pressure is off then. We just need to beg Cecilia to continue to be the president emeritus for a while longer. And the website stuff she provides and the graphic artist.
Then you can call yourself and find out if we can have a meeting here.
That's right. That's right. Going. No takers there. What was the first thing you said, Jerry? That we have to have officers
We have to have officers.
We have to have officers.
Oh, you're thinking of like a boycott. Aren't you?
Well, let's see. When is max leverage is right now, right?
Alan finally figured out how to do it. He moved.
He moved away.
By the way, he still belongs to our chapter.
He does still belong to the
Yeah, he
chapter.
still pays dues.
All right, no takers. That's frightening. How about secretary? We'll go to that one next. You want to do that one?
It's not difficult so far.
It's not difficult so far.
It's a lot easier in treasury. That was too complicated.
Okay. Well, you just wanted to have it better than it was. So I'm willing to live with the messiness of it.
Yeah.
The uncertainty of it.
Yeah.
Huh? Did I hear John say you want to be
I'll
VP?
do VP for 2 years.
All right. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Oh, wait, we didn't make that. Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself.
The competition is intense.
All right, anybody online want to jump into the fray here? No, not so much. And then how about the treasurer?
I'll do treasurer.
All right, there we go. All right, let's go to the next. Let's go to the next. Oh, so we vote now. We vote now. So Robert's Rule of Order, right? Who votes for John as VP for a 2-year stint? Let's see. I think the all right. It's unanimous.
Did you vote for me, Ellen?
Yes. Ellen didn't vote for him. Uh-oh.
Yes,
All right. Jerry, you have to record that. It's pretty much unanimous. Anybody oppose John formerly as the vice president for 2 years? How about the secretary? Who votes for Jerry as secretary?
All right.
All right. All right. I think we're unanimous. Yep.
Just ask who's against it.
Anybody
I would
against?
have to write down.
That's right. Does anybody against? We need one. So
Does anybody oppose the?
Is anybody please somebody oppose it so Jerry has something to write down.
Everybody was elected by acclamation.
Got 100% of the vote.
All right, and how about treasurer? Who
Yay.
approves Sonia as treasurer? Ready, show of hands there. All right, very good. All right, well we have a quorum.
Yay.
All right,
One
very good.
raised hand in the chat.
All right, very good, Jerry. You've got some actions there.
It'll be in the.
All right, we go to the next slide, I think, Cecilia.
So Dominic, just to clarify, so you're willing to do, you've already
Yeah.
done 1 year.
Yeah, I'll do 2 more years, and then
You're
John
thinking-
and I will work together, and
Well, I think like,
because it's actually worked out pretty good. I have the benefit of 3 president emeritus as officers right now.
slicing up the responsibilities nicely, and I just
Exactly.
wanted to say, like, for you and also for you, Cecilia, like, if anything becomes burdensome and you want extra support, let's all discuss it, because I think, you
Yeah,
know, there's
yeah.
a way to slice it better.
Yeah,
Like,
that
go
was
get a speaker or do
Yeah,
some tech work
yeah.
on the
That
site.
was essentially what we were trying to do when Alan said, I don't want to be president. We wanted him to continue to be
Have a
president,
bigger group.
but we didn't want him to have to do all the work. The seat on the SETA,
Right,
Alan had that seat for 5 years.
right.
So he was doing that. He was putting the meeting together.
Yeah. I
Every
don't know how
time
we
press
did it.
would call.
Yeah,
The only name they had, in fact, we've modified it now so that if somebody from the outside wants to contact us, they don't ask for Dominic. They don't ask for any one of us. They go to NBEAA officers at googlegroups.com and it goes to whoever the officers are. So,
Right.
and in fact, they told the SETA, don't send any of the communications to me, send them to NBEAA office, that's why you guys see them.
Right,
as
so
well.
we can all, right, and we know that you're the one monitoring that box,
Yeah.
but we all pick it up.
Yeah, and quite honestly, just to add to that, the reason that I've grown interested in being a part of that officer group is that it is shared, and it's clear that it's shared by a larger group of people than when Alan was there, and I feel like it is a group that works well together, that takes responsibility well, that is shares things and is willing to step up. So yeah, it's not. I feel like we've come a long way since the Allen time.
Yeah, I don't know how we did it.
As secretary, I'll make sure I add Andrew to the officers list.
Let me just send Alan a thank you hat for doing that job for so freaking long.
That's true. He does like the hats we got.
We should send him a hat. Yeah, yeah, we were used to be neighbors. Okay, so there's a few slides from there was so a couple things. The Electric Vehicle Association is now wanting to have monthly national leadership. So there's Jerry, you may know, or maybe you know, Sonia, how many chapters are nationally, but they're having them on the 4th Wednesday of every month now in the afternoon. And some people are, I think it's 4 p.m. And some people are, well into the evening on the East Coast when they phone in, but there's a lot of people on those calls. And so they've hired a executive director who used to be the Dayton, Ohio chair. And that is an extremely active group. They do about 50 events a year. Yeah. So we do 4, they do 50. In a very challenging market, right? I mean, this is Dayton, Ohio is downtown automobile land. Right? So they're in a very challenging market and leaving the rest of us out here, out here in California. So, what do we say? A target-rich environment, right? I mean, we're well past 1 million EVs, 1.5 million, I think, now in the state rolling stock.
Yeah, about a quarter of the new vehicle sales.
About a quarter of the new vehicle sales are electric out here
across the state.
And so they've done, across the state, and they've done.
The area.
So Dayton's done a great job, and so Selleck, forgot his first name or maybe it's his last name, but he's done a great job. So there's a bunch of stuff they want to do, and I think there's going to be more goodness coming. So I want to bring you up to speed on all that. So if you go to the next slide, I picked out 4 or 5 of these that I thought are worth talking about. Here we are. Here's Chris Selleck. Yeah. I think he's the only paid person. I don't know. I don't think it's a full-time job. I can't imagine it's a full-time job. But he has a technology, marketing, comms background. He's been a chapter lead in Dayton, Ohio for the last 5 or 6 years. EVA Chapter of the Year 2023 and EV Advocate of the Year 2022. So just a lot of good energy going into it. So go to the next slide. So there's a couple things coming up. One of the things that the organization is working on is this 10,000 rides. And as we've experienced in our own neighborhoods, or like at work, when I bought my first Volt, because I had a Volt, 3 other people got Volts. They realized that at work, well, there's a Volt in the parking lot. I asked them about it. A month later, somebody else has a Volt.
Yeah.
A month later, somebody has a model. Back then, it was Model 3s or a Model 3. Yeah.
I got my first EV in '98, and for my friends around there, when I got the Leaf, started driving the guys I hiked with. I call them the Indian Mafia. I meet with them once a month now for beer. Not one of them, not any one of the 9 of them, drives a gas powered car. Exactly.
Glad you said that, brother.
Yeah. So,
and added to that, it's interesting to me that Ellen and I have experienced after driving our Bolt and just casually talking to people, used Bolt buyers. I don't know if it's happening everywhere, but there are a lot in our community that have just come up with, hey, we're buying a used Bolt, B-O-L-T.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like synchronicity or some magic or whatever, or collective unconscious, but there's something that happens when you start doing it.
Absolutely. It spreads.
They're still not building this.
Right.
No,
They're gonna build
2026, I think.
One of the, that's
well,
they use These vehicles, and Dresden talked about this too, giving EV rides. We get more people to be driving EVs, but they're going to look for used EVs because 70% of the car sales in California are used vehicles. And we didn't have an inventory of used EVs. And because, in Brian's comment earlier, that's really important because we could get a lot of those EVs back on the road where they had battery technology or charging algorithms that made it so that the batteries didn't last and the vehicles, essentially, it's like running out your engine, but you don't have a place where somebody rebuilds your engine.
Right.
Well, we can start rebuilding the engines now on the EVs. We can get a lot of used EVs on the market.
That's
and
good.
they can penetrate very quickly.
The Tesla website has a lot of the all their everybody's turned in a car and bought a new one. There's a lot of 3s, a lot of Ys out there. The Tesla is selling. You have to go to their website and look around. And I know I looked into buying the new updated 3, and they were only going to give me 15,000 for my 6-year-old.
That's some depreciation there.
Well, yeah. Well, you pay as much as we pay.
Yeah.
Bernie, do you mean
so
at the
the
Tesla dealership in Santa Rosa?
No, online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So sort of getting back to this thread here.
About
So what
25K, get some.
what they want us to do is to go for a ride and share and have a conversation about EVs, about costs of electricity and maintenance. Spread the word by posting photos and quotes on your social pages. And then you can tag, if you scan this little QR code that's in the deck, you can tag those and post them to Electric Vehicle Association and hashtag 10K EV rides. And they're trying to put basically a wall of all of these outreach efforts. And honestly, I think 10,000 is a pretty low bar. I think it's a pretty low bar. My nephew who bought a V8 because of the sound of it. He just got
and he's getting 15 miles to a gallon.
Oh no, not that much. He just bought a new Kia hybrid. But he sent me a screenshot of his dashboard, and the vehicles are making 50 miles per gallon. This is a little, I forgot what it was, a Telluride maybe, and something like that. And he's like, "Oh, don't hate that mileage at all."
I guess my question is, and I will hear this on the road. I will be walking to the park. In other words, I'm on my feet, so everything's quiet. And the loudest cars, the ones that those who either have their mufflers fixed right or actually are made to sound loud, are always driven by young men. And I love my quiet car.
Yeah.
Look, 8 years ago, I was bringing up a factory in Indiana. The guys who were building the trucks, buses for us. They came along and said, "These are not going to sell." I said, "Why?" They don't make the right sound. They're not loud enough. Now, if you can add a sound to them, they sell a lot more.
Yeah, that is a big factor.
Okay, we can go to the next slide, I think.
Oh, I was actually going to say.
Is it on the 10,000? Yeah, go ahead, Brad. Yeah.
So actually, we had someone. I think it was someone that David Harris referred us to, who put his Tesla up for rent on Turo, the peer-to-peer car sharing network. So I don't know if the EVA is trying to encourage electric vehicle owners to list their vehicles on Turo or encourage people to use electric vehicles as Uber or Lyft rides. I also had a former roommate who was a Uber and a Lyft driver, depending on the week, basically.
Yeah, this is really just focused on, giving people rides in your car, but the whole butts and seats thing, right? That we know that we get more when people buy electric vehicles, when they get in them and they realize, oh, it's like driving a slot car when you were 8 years old.
Okay.
It's not about
organized.
It's not about
platform.
It's not about that.
It's
just take a picture of what you've done and post it in your socials on that we've given our more rides out.
Oh, okay.
the next thing is that the EVA is participating with Consumer Reports to survey members on public EV charging experiences. So this is kind of a big deal in my mind. We can finally put some national credible research behind it as opposed to the ad hoc things or I mean, you know, PlugShare does a pretty good job, honestly, of having that already, but CR would put, you know, some survey behind it, and maybe CR is going to dip into PlugShare, some of these other outlets for it, but
background on this because I
yeah,
tried
go
it this
ahead.
morning.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a link that is in the my EVA bulletin email that just came out yesterday.
Okay.
So if you are on that my EVA email list, you would have seen it. And what it brings you to is the opportunity to join an online community to share issues with charging stations and issues with public charging. And so if you do a lot of public charging and you run into issues, so to me, that's a little bit more of the like when you're working with networks that are not Tesla or
Right.
smaller networks that have fewer supercharging locations or something like that, they want to kind of draw attention to the fact that some are not being maintained that well. And so I think that it could be really helpful for a couple of us to join if anyone has an interest, particularly if you're like doing road trips and stuff like that. So they ask you to qualify by saying which car do you drive? Is it really an EV? And do you do any public charging at all?
Right.
And then they say, okay, you're qualified to join this group. And the group is, I assume that they're also going to be like coming in and asking you to participate in surveys because that was the language you used, but it really starts off as just kind of an online community.
Oh, okay.
With
that's
that focus on charger, I don't know if they use the word charger resilience or charger reliability. I'm sorry, reliability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I totally am with that, and I don't want to take too much time, but Ellen and I have been kind of messing around with how reliable units are, and as we travel and trying to keep reporting on them on our own presence. But one of the things that's interesting is that there is not a consistent regulatory influence on how charging networks maintain their charging.
Right.
So that everyone is having a non-consistent experience. And so something like Consumer Reports may help that become more consistent. It may be part of the regulatory process, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Get things in place ahead of time.
Right.
Yeah, if they're about to say that like EVgo is better than electric or something like that, then that, you know, if they're going to rate all of it, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, the way they do their cars, I think it's just I think they rate them based on trouble codes or trouble areas, right? Like they do with the cars. But CR is a great resource. So, okay, and then go back one slide. There's the gentleman named Drew Toher from Consumer Reports will join the April's leaders meeting. So I'll present the findings of that report in May if there's anything to report other than, you know, we started or whatever. So okay, we go to the next one. So the Plug in America is also doing a survey for EV benefits. And they want us to respond, to get involved in this. Again, it's about promoting membership in the public. So I really like what the National is doing. They're giving us some tools that we can push back. We can somehow survive the next 3 years and 10 months.
You got it down to the month
to get through to get through this environment that we're currently facing. But they're putting the tools together to get the data for that conversation.
Could you review for us? I often forget the relationship between Plug in America and EVA. And are they just a chapter? Is that what it is? They're just a very prominent chapter.
It's a separate organization.
I think it's a separate organization.
Yeah, I think Brad's right.
Yeah,
it's a separate organization.
Separate.
Yeah.
Celia, you belonged to Plug In a long time ago, didn't you?
No.
No. Okay.
They're a different group, but they're much more in the well, they help consumers, but they also advocate with law. Plug in America. And so, but like things like surveys and there's definitely there's a public side of plug-in now besides the political side.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
But they are an official, whether they call them a chapter, but yeah, they
Or
do have a
business member, organizational member of the EVA.
Yeah, and I think they organize Drive Electric Earth
Yes,
week
yes.
on activities.
Go to the next slide. Yeah, that might be the last on high. Aha. Oh, so the next one is I think is the last slide on is the next annual meeting for the entire organization is going to be in Schenectady, New York, which is the Electric City. I'm not sure where that nomenclature came from. Maybe that's where
They don't make garlic there. That's why.
maybe that's where Edison and the guys were doing the work on DC versus AC. I don't have a clue why.
No, Edison's in Edison.
He was Edison, New Jersey. All right. Well, I don't know what that's about.
Schenectady was GE's.
GE's corporate headquarters. Okay. I actually looked at that. I thought that might be an interesting road trip. It's a long way to go. 300 miles a day.
Is that a line or is that actually a?
No, I don't think that's, I think it's just a squiggle. Yeah. That's not Highway 10. It's not Highway 40.
Yeah.
It's not Highway 80. I think it's just, yeah.
It's hitting the most states that they can.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well,
So anyway, if anybody wants to go, the meeting is on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of May. And might be an interesting thing to do a rally for. Okay, what's the next slide? Aha. So during the call, we got through all the normal stuff. There was, I don't know, a dozen charts they prepared, and somebody said, and then somebody said, well, what about Tesla? Somebody asked about Elon Musk's position on Doge, the Nazi-aligned. I don't know if anybody knows what the AFD is for, but it's the alternative for Germany. It's a new far-right political party in Germany. It's very much Nazi-aligned group there. His crazy ex-posts, other behavior. And the question came up, does the EVA support banning Tesla at Dean and other public events? So that prompted me to put a chat in the discussion thread for those of you who have opted in on that. And I thought we should talk about it as a group and figure out if it's something that an area that we want to go after.
Could you review with us what they're?
Well, so the EVA's view was that I don't think they were hard on whether chapters could or couldn't ban Tesla participation at these DEAM events that are coming up in 2 months or whatever.
And DEAM events? What is
Drive Electric?
Thank you.
Earth Day. Yeah, basically Earth Day events. And I don't think they certainly didn't say you couldn't invite Tesla, but their position was, if it wasn't for Tesla, we wouldn't have Tesla superchargers. Right. We wouldn't have an EV market. Yeah. We wouldn't have about 100,000 used Teslas coming on the market as people try to get away from their Teslas. And so their view was that we need to find a way to accept the benefits that Tesla has brought to the EV community while distancing ourselves from what Elon Musk has done.
Just separate from Elon Musk. I did send out that discussion.
Yeah.
Tesla is a public company. Elon Musk owns 13 to 15% of the company, depending on. And there's other financial institutions that own 9%, 8%.
Yeah, BlackRock you mentioned, and some of the other big ones. And
we don't often look at their political views as sites. The only thing about Teslas that I have, and it has nothing to do with Musk, has to do with the fact that until recently, whenever I would talk to somebody about buying an EV who doesn't own, not in the community, their assumption was I was telling them to buy a Tesla. But the only EV that they knew existed was a Tesla. At this point, or at the end of last year, there were 88 production passenger vehicles, including pickup trucks, available in the United States that are EVs models. And that blew me away.
88.
88. Okay.
It's a big
Now,
number.
that doesn't even come close to what you have available in China, but, or Europe. But we have 88 different models, and I think we need to be taxed sitting down and coming up with a list of the 88 here. But for most people who don't drive EVs, when you talk about buying an EV, they think of the Tesla. De-emphasizing the Teslas at public events for that reason would be good.
Is there a way I can join in?
Yeah.
All I was going to say is I don't think it's fair to the Tesla owners who are Joe and Jane Public, who decided they wanted a really cool EV. I know people are starting to vandalize Cybertrucks, and I don't think it's fair to the owners of these. I have purchased many a thing, I'm certain, from companies that people totally object to.
Yeah, they all have.
Right. Right. Yeah,
I mean, I am a former civil service, and if you ask me if I hate somebody, which I don't like hating on people, Elon's really high up. He's up there with Hitler, okay? But I would buy a Tesla if I had the coin.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Brad, you had a comment?
Oh, yeah, I mean, as far as Tesla, the company, there have been, I don't know if you guys passed around the article in the Press Democrat about the recent protests at the Tesla dealership in Santa Rosa. There were about 100 people that showed up. I don't know, maybe that was within the last month or so. So there is some activity locally around that issue. I mean, from the company's perspective, I don't understand why there isn't like a shareholder lawsuit against Elon Musk over the $56 billion pay package. But that's like a Tesla issue. I don't really understand how that impacts the EVA or the NBEAA, because I mean, unless people here own shares of Tesla, but that's like kind of separate, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't entirely understand.
Well, 10 years ago, I was saying that Obama should have given Elon Musk the Medal of Freedom for what he did to force the auto industry.
Yeah, right.
EV.
Right.
And now I have to ask myself, if maybe he's done that, Elon wouldn't have become a Trumpite.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hindsight.
Yeah.
All right.
He became a Trumpite because one of his 10 or 15 children, by only 4 women, actually, I'm not kidding, decided to change their gender from whatever they were born with, the transgender person, in other words. And that is pretty much what I've heard is why he's totally opposed to that.
Yeah.
And that's why he became so
he was
We lost you, Linda.
I think we lost you, Linda. I think everybody froze.
Okay, let me try again. I know this, I don't like to bring this into the EV club, but evidently one of Elon's many bastard children, I'm going to say it, have one of them is transgender and changed his or her gender. And so he considers that he's lost that child, and they think that's some of why he became so conservative. In other words, it was based on a social issue.
Hey, Linda,
Yeah.
we lost you all for a little bit, and we've been starting to talk on something else, keep it going. So sorry, Linda, for interrupting you, but everybody froze there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring it back around to the idea that we do have an opportunity to promote a broader variety of models when we do these events. And I think we've been wanting to do that.
Yeah.
We've always said that it would be healthy. You know, like when we were at the point where it was 90% Tesla sales and 10% other, it seemed unhealthy for rapid and broad adoption. And when we were getting to like half Tesla and half other, it started to feel a little better. It might be more like 40,
actually
60 now.
I think it's on the next slide. I pulled up
Okay.
last year's after action discussion that we had in
Yeah.
Santa Rosa about what we wish we had brought.
Right.
So we could take a look
Like
at
what
that.
people want to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
So we could probably best to keep this conversation going on the discuss forum, but I just want to bring it up and see if anybody. Yeah. Hey, Russ, you had your hand up?
Or David.
Oh, David. Hey, David.
Yeah, I'm just thinking way beyond all this. If this organization is actually Nazi aligned, shouldn't we be banning all EVs from Germany?
Actually, that is kind of interesting. I did read that Tesla sales have fallen like 45%
Yeah, in Germany.
over the last, well, I think across Europe.
Yeah,
I mean, there's been a pretty intense blowback.
yeah.
I guess.
So one of my concerns is that generally people have not been particularly fond of adopting EVs, and this gives them another reason to not adopt EVs. And what we want to do is enhance the opportunity to adopt EVs.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
how do you kind of unpack all that and make it okay?
Yeah.
I like what you were saying, Sonia, that our direction before political entered the scene was to widen the scope of exposure of different models. And
Right.
continuing that isn't reactionary, isn't doing anything,
Yeah.
to react. It's just saying, yeah, look at how many EVs we have, let's brought in the market and not exclude anyone. I mean, this is my suggestion that we not exclude anyone, but we also, invite a variety.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the next slide. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I did a couple of those demos when we were down at
Santa Rosa.
down at the old courthouse
Yeah.
center square, and we couldn't find anybody that didn't have a Tesla at the time. Everybody, that was the car.
Yeah,
That was,
we
that
were
was the
attempting to
electric
create
car that
variety.
was out.
Yeah.
So
Let me be clear here. I don't advocate banning any EV. I think it's a dumb idea. I also want to comment, hard to hold back on this, but there's some statements being made in this meeting that I don't think are really actually true. And they're to the extreme. And I think when you start going down this road about banning people and banning, you're talking about banning free speech, and you're talking about things that I think are anti-American. So I want to just make it clear. I threw that out there just to see what people would say. I don't think we should ban anybody, and I think we should be careful about what we're saying based on some news article or some comment from some people, because I think you're finding out now there's been a lot of misinformation and flat out lies for the last 8 years, if not the last 16 years. And it's starting to come out in all the news media, not just, as people would say, Fox News. So I think we ought to stick. I agree with Dawn. Let's stick to the subject of EVs and how to promote them based on the fact that they're way better than any ICE vehicle out there, and they have very significant advantages that we need to support.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the next slide, because I think I wanted to talk about that because it sets us up for next year, or for this year. And I think I got this. This is mostly last year events, and I didn't do a great job on this one. I don't know if I submitted a thing on this, but anyway, Ukiah Earth Day is the 19th of April. Cecilia's the lead for that one. Cecilia, these Facebook posts and Climate Action Mendocino things, those are the old links from last year. I just copied this slide from last year, so if you get a chance, if you have updated them, I don't know if they're updated or not now, but these links are all bad.
Okay. Yeah, I did not fully update this slide. I didn't realize it was
No, it's okay.
just
I did
a copy paste.
Yeah, it's simply a copy paste from last year. And
Yeah, I believe will be the time is actually going to be 9 to I think it's 9 to is it 9 to 12 this time? Yeah, 9 to 12.
If you guys get a
You guys
chance,
want to update that before I make a PDF out of it?
yeah, or just blow out what's wrong and whatever. But if you've not been to, I've never been to this park in Ukiah. It's gorgeous. It's drop dead gorgeous. We're under the oak trees there, and everybody who had an EV who heard about it, bring them. I mean, there was There was,
Tape under oak trees?
Jerry has some PTSD.
The worst time is in the
Oh,
spring.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But there was, I think there were 25 different vehicles there. There's a Rivian model R1S there. There's that's a Mustang right there. And then everything all the way to the back that you can see are all electric vehicles, including, I think, that bus. There's a Cybertruck right there. And it turned into be an extremely good rally. And in a beautiful part of Ukiah that I've never been in. So I would encourage anybody who has time to go up there and interact in that way.
Yeah, I would highly encourage Cecilia or anyone else who helps out with the Earth Day event in Ukiah to highlight the cost of electricity per kilowatt hour in Ukiah, because they have a municipal electric provider.
Start a fight here, Brad.
Oh, well, it's like
they're paying a third of what we pay in PG&E.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the 6 cents that Brian was talking about earlier, but still,
yeah.
I mean, I just don't know if the residents of
Hillsborough like
Ukiah,
that too.
understand how inexpensive that is
Yeah.
compared to the larger region.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Well, yeah, when they go to the Chargers, they pay 50 cents.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting up to
Something.
above 60.
Yeah.
Do they?
Well, the great thing about Ukiah is it's this year or last year it was on the same date, so it was either A or B. This year, because it's a week before, we can do both. So
What do you mean A and B?
last year they were on the same day, so you had to pick. Am I going to do Santa Rosa or am I going to do Ukiah? And so I was able to come to Santa Rosa at the end of the day, but this year they're going to be on 2 separate days, so we can attend both and bring our own vehicles, bring a variety of vehicles
Well,
there.
we can't bring a lot of vehicles to Santa Rosa because they haven't.
In Santa Rosa, we can, and we don't even know what they're allowing us to bring this year. They've accepted the application this week, but they've not told us what we can bring.
So who organizes that in Santa Rosa?
Next slide. Who's got 2 thumbs and organizing Santa Rosa?
You put in the application.
I did. Oh, Santa Rosa, whatever.
There's some Earth Day order.
Yeah, there's Sonia sent me the link and said, figure this out.
Organizes the Earth Day event each month.
Yeah, and this will be on the square again, like we did last year.
Yeah.
Again, this Facebook post is out of date. So these, I think, were all member vehicles. We all brought these vehicles.
Right.
That red one there in the middle is beautiful.
The one that's going to be up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bernie's red.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's Jack Christensen's Chevy Bolt EUV on the right.
Yeah.
And Val and
who's-
Ken Coker's
Arcimoto.
Arcimoto.
Yeah, it was a great.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Sonia, who's been doing this for years in Santa Rosa, is not going to be there that day. So.
Yeah, not free this time.
So I'm the coordinator, but
Yeah.
I'm recommending that we get Val out there. It's always an attention getter.
Yeah.
People want to bring. They want to talk about.
For her name.
What's that?
That people know who Val is.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's the
there's-
track people don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, everyone there's always a lot of interest in modified EVs.
And a lot of
So I don't know what the other vehicles will do this year. It really depends on what Santa Rosa says. And then from 2024, I copied lessons learned. We could have shown, I think it was from your slide. We could have shown a Model Y, a Mustang, a Leaf, and a Bolt. And maybe we'll focus more on those as well. So we'll see what they allow us to do.
Yeah, I think we were just looking for more variety.
More variety, a larger showing area.
Yeah, possibly like people were coming through. I think 2 years ago, people really were coming through and saying, what can I buy for my family? Or something like that. And they were like kind of ready to buy.
Right.
And then a year ago, it was a little less clear because I think by then incentives had been around for a bit.
Right. Right.
But this year, I don't know. Everyone who's shopping might swing through and ask questions.
2 things we might consider. If Brian has been able to update leaps, if we can get an updated leap.
If we can get an updated lead.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be good. Second,
funding.
us to contact Grant or Jeff and ask if they would bring their
Lightning.
No, the electric van that they had 2 years ago, when we did it over at the Energy Center, Sterling Powers Energy Center. They brought a van and which was their demo vehicle. And I didn't realize that it was electric.
Who's demo?
Sonoma
Clean
Clean
passenger
Power
van?
has an electric van that they use as a utility vehicle.
Well, someone in Sebastopol has a new VW ID Buzz,
Yeah,
and it's
I saw it.
very
Yeah.
I
cute.
saw them on a truck just the other day.
Yeah.
A couple gone to the dealer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and they're putting $10,000 on the MSRP.
oh, are they?
Kidding, really?
That
Wow.
high markup.
Putting or taking?
No, they're
They're adding to.
Oh, jerk was.
yeah.
Well, that's what they were doing on the EV6 during COVID.
Yeah, well, a lot of
They added
new
that.
vehicles, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good.
That'll go away soon.
The supply chain shortages, I guess.
And I'm also seeing a lot of Kia EV9s, and I gotta say that
Yeah. And two.
Hey,
it's big, and some big families are like, could I go electric? They don't know if they could, so that could be interesting. I mean, I love the idea of incredibly small and incredibly large
Gotta find
cars.
somebody who's got one.
Yeah, I don't know
I
anyone.
haven't regularly looked at the EV9 versus the Tesla option. They said the Tesla option is cheaper than the EV9.
Oh yeah,
Although the EV9s, the prices I've seen are less expensive than.
They're in the mid 60s now.
Well,
I think.
could we
No,
get
I saw them both.
I don't know.
Could we get a
So
dealer
what's the
that brings
Tesla
up?
option for the EV1?
I would think a Model S.
Yeah.
only
Or the
option.
Y.
So why small?
Oh, okay.
Are the dealers, Tom, an
Are there
option to
3
get
rows in the
a
one?
vehicle there from a dealer? Or-
We could certainly reach out to the dealers. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what our credibility is with the dealers.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, we had such low participation at the NBEAA.
Oh,
So, yeah, we may have burned that a little bit, but I'll reach back out to them. Yeah.
Having an ID Buzz there, would be
Yeah, that would be cool. ID Buzz would be very,
the green
very
one.
buzzy. Yeah, all right. I'll reach out to the
So,
dealer.
so let me add that we went
Like-
down to Richmond and test drove the VinFast.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Well,
The big one?
no, we drove the 8, and but my wife was in the back, and then when we left in our lease, she said the back seat of that VF8 is like being in a limo.
Oh, wow.
It's so big.
It has a big back seat.
Yeah.
And Sonia, did you say that you went to the Port of Madeira?
Cecilia and I went
Okay.
to there to that big place.
Well,
Okay.
I've been
Couple
looking
years ago.
at Turo. So, we've rented the Tesla Model 3 from
Yeah.
a guy named Mike, but I see there's another guy named Nathan. And, there was a time when Tesla was involved with Turo in promoting the idea the way to get a test drive is to rent one
Oh.
from an individual owner. And I'm going to see if I can make contact with this guy, Nathan.
Okay.
'Cause, their website shows that the average host who's renting their own car is making about $9,000, clearing $9,000
Oh,
on
that's
Turo.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
Well, you sign up online and
I think we can move. I think we can move forward, Cecilia. Okay, so there's a bunch of things that I had spooled up for last month that we didn't get to, because last month we had a pretty good discussion as well. There was a conversation about, I'm an RV person, and there's a YouTube that I watch I think it's every Monday that come out. It's called Outdoor Miles. It's an RV centric YouTuber, and he just talks about what's happening in the national parks. And one of the things that they covered off was whether or not can you charge in an RV park. And it seems like an obvious match, right? It's not. It's not an obvious match.
Oh,
It's
terrible.
It's a terrible match.
Yeah, I mean,
Because-
Why? Oh, why?
Well,
That a lot of
the RVs are periodic loads, right?
Yeah.
You plug in your EV into a periodic load device, and now you're on that battery for 9 hours at 30 amps or something. It's not set up for that.
that's the same point that PG&E
Yeah.
brings out when they talk about
Yeah.
where are they going, what they need to do with loads, et cetera. They recognize that the sustained load of EVs impacts the distribution grid. So they need a different kind of grid, or they need to have
Distributed power.
Oh,
Distributed
okay.
power, and that's
Yeah.
why they want more solar installed, they want.
They
more
do?
liquid battery.
Yeah.
I thought it's been fighting it forever.
No, they're trying to find ways to make it happen. Their CEO came out and said, we want more electric vehicles, but we want to be able to tap the storage of electricity into them because we want to be charging them on a regular basis. We don't want them all just loading at one time. And that's what's gonna kill things. Because the peak loads, the wires that we have are designed for peak loads. The peak loads last for 10 minutes.
Right.
Okay, when you
Right.
have an EV and you go to charge your EV6, it runs for 7 hours at the peak load.
Right.
At your house.
At
Right.
your house.
Right. It's just
So if everybody's doing that, the peak load now, instead of being a 10-minute peak load, the wire never gets a chance to cool down.
right. Right. Exactly.
Oh, okay. So
Exactly.
at a
And a
charging station at a national park.
It's
so
not a charging
it's not a
station.
charging
It's the
station.
220 line there
Yeah.
that we're plugging into that would be used for an RV. Well, an RV is going to turn on the oven. Okay, the oven's going to be on for 30 minutes or whatever else. They're not going to pull a peak load for a long time. You plug in the EV. The EV is going to pull that load for 6 hours.
Yeah, and that's not
That's-
just
that's
a
the
question
issue.
of national park, it's any of
It's
these.
any,
Right.
Yeah.
any RV park.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
right.
an
And
RV.
this is by the way, the national parks in general don't have electrical power, right? They're almost all boondocking at national parks.
You're talking
And-
about
and-
KOA type
and-
places.
Yeah, and in state parks, in California, they generally don't have power. Oregon and Washington, other states have electricity. States with heat, which we don't have, they all have electricity because everybody's running their AC the whole time. So, but the basic point was, you better check before you expect that. I was hoping that this would be the answer to solve my problem because we're campers. We're like, that's why I have a truck, is we're campers and we tow. But I don't know. No, I don't. No, I don't sleep on the dirt. I'm not homeless.
So are most of the RV campgrounds at national parks or at state parks or county
RV,
parks?
Private.
Oh,
mostly,
you mean like
they're almost all
private.
private.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all private.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they don't have charging stations.
The private parks do,
Oh,
but they have, like Jerry talked about, they're all sized for these short burst peak loads.
They're not the EV
They're not,
charging.
they're not
EV
EV
charging
charging
stations.
stations.
They're RV
You can't
charging.
have, they're not designed to bring in a
RV
megawatt
power.
of 25 EVs all charging at 50 amps at the same time. They're not
Okay.
sized for that.
and so, for example, like KOA, because that's just the one I know of.
Yeah.
They don't
Have a
want-
megawatt substation.
and they don't want to install EV charging stations.
Well, imagine it's pretty expensive.
Right.
They'd
They're
have to
not
put
set
in
up
an
for-
entirely new
Line.
Yeah,
Service.
yeah,
service.
open
Yeah,
service,
it would
yeah.
have to be a
Huh.
beefed up service.
Yeah.
And they can't like
There's that much.
dial down their amperage.
No, that much load.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do that. Or limit everybody to 10 amps
Well,
or
that's what I
something.
was thinking.
Yeah,
Couldn't you just set it to like 10 amps or 50?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how
can.
you do that in the
Yeah.
car.
And then someone would drive up and be like, oh, I can only get
Yeah,
12 or
I can only
15 amps out
I
of
can
this.
only get 10 miles per hour charging.
But overnight, isn't that?
That's 100 miles. Go back to Bernie's thing.
So I've got the portable, well, I have a portable cable that came with it takes either 220 or 110. So 220 to pull 7.7 kilowatts. That's 10 amps. Sorry, that's
30 amps.
Yeah.
30 amps.
30 amps.
2.30 amps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 30 amps.
Yeah.
It's 30
Because
amps.
that campground doesn't have a charging station, an EV charging.
It- They won't, campgrounds don't have charging stations. They
Yeah.
have 220.
They have an
They
RV plug.
plug in your
a
220
dryer
for your
plug.
RV.
Right.
Oh, so none of the
Essentially.
Essentially, they don't.
They're designed for RVs.
Except for RVs, you have a 220 outlet, you have 110 outlet, so you plug your RV in. So I converted a friend's van to be from a work van into an RV. And we put 3 kilowatt hours inside. And we have an inverter. And we have 400 watts of solar on the roof. And he can charge from his alternator, charge from the wall. When he charges from the wall, he's going to pull a kilowatt. We pull 7. we're pulling 8 times the load.
Right, exactly. For hours.
So
For
is
hours.
there,
Let's go to the next slide.
is there a list of campgrounds that allow EV charging?
You have to call ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
That's you know what, that is the bottom line of the slide.
okay.
Call before you go.
It depends on
because
the campground.
Because it depends, and if you don't call before you go, forgiveness is not gonna get you home. Permission will.
And does anyone here know of an organization that has a list of campgrounds that have available EV charging?
We call
There is
that
none.
plug share.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it's probably very close to zero.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's not what they're marketing. They're not marketing for people that come in with their.
okay.
all right, so the next one I wanted to talk about, I don't know if anybody picked up this one. Ivanpah, I've been flying over Ivanpah for years, flying back and forth to Dallas.
Really?
Yeah, so
What is that?
Ivanpah is a concentrated solar power.
Oh, yeah.
It's I think there's 3 towers in the middle of the desert. They're 150, 200 feet high, giant ball of oil at the top. This is a ring of mirrors that point at this giant ball of oil. They heat the oil up to 800 Fahrenheit, and it causes steam to go. And I
didn't realize it was
it's concentrated.
not concentrated
It's
solar.
concentrated
It's not,
CSP. Yeah.
well, isn't concentrated solar some kind of like combination of panels and
This is all mirrors.
This is all mirrors, no
mirrors.
panels.
Yeah, there's just
Move
and they move all day. And so this has been it's been a bit of an environmental problem as well.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, because what happens is the birds fly over those mirrors. And it's extremely hot. They just fall out of the sky. And the birds there, birds fly on the little tiny feathers, not the big feathers, and they fall out of the sky. So Ivanpah kills about 6,000 birds a year.
Wow.
But isn't it shut down?
And it's 2 are shutting down this year. The 2 Southern California, I think the 2 PG&E sites are shutting down.
Really?
And by the end of 26, and then Southern California Edison will stay online for a little bit longer. The 2 sites that are shutting down are going to be replaced with solar panels.
So is this Ivanpah facility in the North Bay?
No, it's down.
It's on your way into Vegas, just before you cross the state line going into the back.
Okay,
Yeah.
so are you guys saying that this facility shutting down is going to have impacts in the North Bay?
Well, to the grid.
To the grid.
Oh, okay.
It's just it's also very interesting that a high-tech idea for getting power from the sun is apparently not working monetarily. Right. That's the main
Yeah, I
thing.
think that's
Yeah.
Monetarily, or is it just?
This is right here.
Yeah.
Never was profit.
Yeah,
It's
it never
profit.
made money.
Profit.
Yeah.
The birds
Yeah.
is just another thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it going to cause PG&E rates or Hillsbury high rates to go up?
No,
It has nothing to do with North Bay.
It's
Oh.
not a huge.
It's not huge.
Yeah.
But it didn't work. I think the message here is
Here's-
that they tried it and it
They
didn't
tried
work
to
out.
work. Yeah. Yeah. It was,
But the
I know-
solar panel arrays are, as I fly over on the way down to Southern California in the plane, I've measured it sometimes. Their panel arrays are 3 miles by
Oh yeah.
2 miles.
Yeah. And that's what's going to be here.
And that's not this. This is that's
is-
just regular
yeah.
solar panels.
There's PV just down the road from this.
Yeah, that's right. And this is going to be replaced with PV. And if you fly over it, I wish I had put my picture in there, because when I fly to Dallas, you can see this great big white orb in the middle of the desert, and there's 3 of them. It's just I was hoping this would be useful, but it's been like this has been going on for about a decade, I think. And,
But Don, there must be another one, because I flew out of the Bay Area going to Denver, and I'm sitting there looking and seeing the bright spot.
one big bright spot.
One big bright spot. And so I asked the pilots when I got off the plane, and they acted like they didn't see it.
Maybe they did. Maybe they looked once and didn't see it again.
It's burning. You program the plane and you take a nap. It's time to land, and the plane can land itself too. But
All right, let's go to the next slide.
he has to do the tax.
Okay, so this is one that I put together based on what you had mentioned, Sonia, about winter EV heat pumps preserving range. There was a giant study in Norway on this, and I was going to send the link to Tor to see if Tor could translate the Norwegian to English, but never really got around it. But basically they're getting data on the Model 3s that said that these heat pump heaters increasing range 11 to 13%. So that's not a small amount. Yeah, that's worth
Yeah.
it.
EV6, the four-wheel drive model
The four-wheel drive model.
has a heat pump. I don't know why they put it in our model.
Yeah.
You don't have a four-wheel drive.
No,
You
no,
don't,
I
you
do.
don't have one
Rear-wheel
either.
drive.
Yeah.
I don't know why they put it on vehicles. It probably was extra cost, but
Yeah.
I've noticed though that the heater in the EV6 compared to the heater in the Leaf
Yeah.
is somehow more efficient. I don't know why it would be, but it's definitely not a heat pump ready for it.
You know, what just occurred to me as soon as you said that, it might be just, I think that they were advertising 310 miles of range or 306 miles of range. And they were able to get that out of the rear-wheel drive versions, but not the four-wheel drive versions. So they put that in there so they could get that same range out of it.
Oh, I see.
To goose it a little bit.
Right.
Because I looked at these back in 2015 for the buses we were manufacturing. And there was a company in Ohio doing it, and I kept talking to them, and they couldn't get anybody to buy them.
The heat pumps
Couldn't
themselves?
buy heat pumps. And Tesla was probably the first one to try to integrate the entire system with heat pumps and take all the heat that's in the system, both in the batteries, the heat of the vehicle, and everything else, and manage the heat so the amount of waste. Because the way vehicles are done is they're all separate systems. In every system, the heat disposal or the heat gain is done separately. So some systems need the heat gain, and some systems need a heat loss.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And vehicles aren't designed or were not designed before to care about efficiency all that much.
Right.
Yeah. So the system is done independently, so they become less efficient. With EVs, we want them to be more efficient.
That's how the Volt was. The Volt had 3 separate cooling systems.
Right.
One for the battery, one for the motor, one for the engine.
Right, and they tried to combine those. My problem was that I had completely forgotten that I didn't have a heat pump. And so then I was kind of looking at it on a really cold day, and it was like, why is it that much worse? I thought I had a heat pump, and then I Googled it, and I'm like, oh, I don't even have a heat pump.
Is that did they come out in a certain year then? Is that what happened?
2021. So the red line is 2021 Model 3s, I think.
20.
And that has the heat pump.
Yeah.
So if you have an older than 2021 Model 3, then you know.
Well, I imagine the new Highlander.
Toyota?
No.
So this is a
Tesla's.
Tesla has a Highlander?
The three. The Tesla 3 is the upgraded version.
They call that a Highlander.
That was a true name.
so
Well,
this
I remember reading that VW it was like 1,500 to add the heat pump, and somebody in Vancouver or something was analyzing and saying it isn't worth it.
Price wise.
Cecilia just pointed out that Highlander is the code name for the newest Model 3 refresh. This curve is interesting. This blue line is the nominal range over temperature. So from 15 to 65 Fahrenheit, that's the range. And then this is the range gain over with a heat pump. Yeah. So at various temperatures, it increases the range by this percentage. And then at 60
the heater
conditioning thing.
Yeah, at 65 they cross over and there's no net boost in range, but at all other temperatures you get this 15. And as you close in on, you get into 55 and 65, there's no benefit at
get to 90.
Then it cuts back over again.
You'll see again that the heat pump
Right.
That's over again. Yeah. Cool chart.
No. What are you saying? No, because the heat pump, well, actually, never mind.
It just becomes an air
We
conditioner.
always had heat pumps over 65 degrees.
Exactly.
Right. What's the air conditioner?
It's just an air conditioner. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next slide. Any questions from the peanut gallery? Not yet. All right. Next one then. Someone sent this one here, and I tried to get an update. I tried to get an update on this after Mayor Lurie came into office, and I've not seen an update on this. But San Francisco is receiving proposals now from 3 suppliers. They're in the process of refining their proposals to demonstrate feasibility and effectiveness, get permits. And then the suppliers are Irvin EV, It's Electric, and Volt Post. So they are, it looks like they're going for this bring your own cord strategy.
Yeah.
And it's, which is about time. It's really the right way to do this. My guess, it's all, Jerry, maybe you know, or somebody knows, it's all level 2.
As far as I know, it's level 2.
10 amps or something or whatever.
Yeah. No, it'll be 30 amps.
It'll be 30 amps level 2.
Level 2 is 30 amps, 30, 40 amps.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, right. Okay.
Level 1.
Yeah, I was thinking
well,
to be.
Bruce did that whole thing about bringing the amps down on purpose.
Yeah, right.
But I think one of the reasons to bring the amps down on purpose in this situation is to make it so that you could feel like a person can park there for 12 hours overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I can get up at 2 o'clock or something, need to go.
So if it were cheaper.
And I think the electricity is being provided by the building owner. If I remember reading this article,
well,
they're not putting in new hard pipe
Oh,
throughout the city. I
okay.
think it's being
Because
provided by the building.
The other ones that Grant and I talked about this, companies to see. Problem is, we can't find who's responsible.
Exactly.
Is it the city? Is it the supplier? Is it the utility? Is it the owner of the property?
Right.
It wasn't clear who would provide the facilities, but most of these work just like the other public chargers. Is that the electricity is provided, but this guy who's taking electricity and putting in his car is going to pay for it.
Right.
Okay, he's paying for the electricity.
I guess the question is whose breaker is it plugged into?
It
Yeah,
probably
who gets the
comes
money?
off of the ones that were in Europe and the other ones that were in New York. They come off the same line that goes to the telephone poles, that's the light poles.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and the light poles are charged per pole to the cities. They don't charge for electricity, they charge
No meter.
per pole. There's no meter on it.
So
So this is just a time.
Any public utility that I know of,
okay.
the way the cities get charged for electricity on the poles is by the pole.
Okay.
Right.
Assuming they're on all the time or on a set schedule.
There's no assumption there's a contract. Okay, so they charge by the pole. So that's why when cities talk about changing their lights to LEDs, they want to talk to the utility about renegotiating the contract. The utility doesn't want to talk about the contract.
I think this is one of those.
Never has any problem figuring out who's, the meters that you put in that you have to pay to park. They never have any problem with that. But when it comes to EVs, it's
it seems to be something different.
I wonder if that could be if longer term, if those would be a dual use thing. They could pay to park or pay to park and charge at the same time. A combo meter.
I've seen that. I've seen it at the airport.
Okay, well, that's cool.
If the cord is smart and that it IDs the vehicle or not.
I don't know.
Well, you can see it breaks at both ends.
Yeah, my guess this is J17.
Imagine the person carries their own cord.
Yeah.
But the cord's, I don't think anything is the cord smart, right? It's the thing called the cord's so wide.
I just
Just
wondered
the 5 wires.
if you still have to then put your card into a.
Yeah, I imagine you got to touch
The
something. Yeah.
car being able to.
Yeah.
That's the
I
same
imagine
problem
you
with
need to use an
Tesla
app
trucks
and
with
log
the
in.
I6s.
It's a
Because
Wi-Fi.
Tesla owners.
Yeah, right.
Give it a charge card, then they know the car, right? The EV6 has to have some way now, that's the station say, hey.
But Tesla's not the only one that does it that way. I mean,
Ford does it like that too.
some of the independent companies have your card on file. Well, that's what Tesla does. They have your card on file, and so they just know who it is by looking and charge you.
Yeah, but the car has to be able to tell.
Your car has to be smart.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's soft.
Or it needs a screen. If you plug in at charge point, it just uses a screen and swipe the screen.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a pilot. It's just software.
Yeah.
Well, that's all an airplane is anymore.
Well, I guess it's. I think it's something we should be watching out for to see how this deploys out with Mayor Lurie and see what happens.
This is really important.
I think it is. Yeah.
For people.
It's pretty cool.
multifamily units and places without garages.
Yeah.
Any of my neighbors who don't know how to park.
Let's go to the
Do
next
you know if there
slide.
are any similar charging stations in Santa Rosa or Sonoma County?
No, no.
No.
It's not.
Okay,
All right, this is me. Apologies for the wall of text.
perfect, thank you.
But like earlier, it was like earlier this year, last year, or I guess earlier this year, the EPA secretary intended to send 3 EPA approvals for California waivers. That's for our advanced clean cars, advanced clean trucks, and heavy duty omnibus rules to Congress for a process for repeal through the Congressional Review Act. And if these were repealed, it could end California's right to regulate air quality. Someone has identified that this decision could be blocked by folks or Congress people within the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 20th, 22nd, 23rd, 40th, and 41st and 48th districts of California. Folks in those districts are encouraged to write to their Congress people there. If you know people in those areas, I think it's mostly Southern California and more towards the Eastern California. You encourage those folks to write in and let them know that they don't want this to happen.
Those must all be districts that have Republican members of Congress.
I think we're in the first. I think Mike Thompson is the first district.
I think the 22nd is like Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, sorry. The first is Butte. Oh shoot.
we're
They're
in
so
the second.
two-faced.
Well,
States' rights when it comes to
Doug
abortion.
Malfia.
so the Central Valley has a real air pollution issue right now,
Yes.
right? And so that doesn't really have to do with climate change. It has to do with general air pollution. Is there any kind of like a bipartisan messaging around Central Valley air pollution that works in this situation?
Health related, etc.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of asthma rates and things like that. But there's certain communities that really have bad air quality.
It was funny because this was years ago. The Central Valley complained about the air pollution, and they said they didn't cause it. It was caused by Silicon Valley blowing down over the Central Valley.
Yeah, air doesn't really, have borders in the same way that congressional districts do.
That's
So
a good line.
So I think the vote would be strongest from constituents in those districts
Because those Congress people are
because they don't care what, like if we wrote in, they would go,
Right.
I don't, you don't, you have no
Mike
influence.
Thompson, we used to be in the first district. But
Yeah, they got moved it. So now it's the Malfa.
It's all east of up it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what we're in. If we can.
We're in the second.
We're in the second. Okay.
Maybe it'd be good to check in with Woody Hastings about this, because I actually don't know what congressional committee that process with the EPA repealing through the Congressional Review Act goes through.
I think they're talking about.
Yeah, these are all.
The entire House.
These are all going to be Republican districts, would be my guess. These are all going to be red districts. So.
Okay.
There's only 9 of them, and we must have
Yeah.
way
They only
more
listed the 9 of them.
that California could have influence over, and we're not many of them. So. I wonder if Caleb might be in one of these districts, because this is sometimes these are he's not in South. He's not in, where is he?
Orange County, Los Angeles.
Not in San Diego.
No.
Or Orange County. Maybe. Yeah, orange has gone purple. Anyway, it's this is something that if we have any influence, so Zeldin is requested for these waivers, but I grew up in Altadena, and I have firsthand experience of. I used to live 2 miles from the Sierra Madres. I grew up in Altadena. I used to play kickball. I used to play in kickball on New York Drive and Altadena and Lake Avenue. Okay, in Altadena. There were days 2 miles away I could not see the Sierra Madre. 2 miles up Lake Avenue, and it was brown. And now LA is beautiful. The skies are beautiful, beautiful and clear.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think's the primary difference?
What we're doing,
It
the
started
EPA, Clean Air Act, absolutely.
Yeah, it starts
yeah.
with
It was here too.
yes.
It
Yeah,
started
it's beautiful.
with the smog control devices on the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
When I drove a girl from Pittsburgh back a year and drove up the hills just above Saratoga. I looked down at the valley, and you couldn't see the ground
You
below.
couldn't see the
It was
ground
all
below,
orange and yellow.
Yeah.
And today it's crystal clear.
Ask your old girlfriend if she was around in the 49 smog crisis in Pittsburgh.
Huh.
Pittsburgh had it the worst. I know that's older than she is.
I would have been just born.
But
So I was
but
in
Pittsburgh is
college.
what caused the EPA to form the Clean Air Act in 49. That basin in Pittsburgh and the Allegheny and the Monongahela came into Pittsburgh, and the winds stopped. And all that sulfur got in the air, and people were dying left and right. 5 days. It was like London fog.
It's
It was
Pittsburgh.
horrifying.
I was just saying, it was England and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was England first and then Pittsburgh, yeah.
And the buildings were all black, or not
so
quite black, but very dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know in this area, there's the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. I don't know if anyone here has applied for financial incentives because they have various programs to like convert gas, like to decommission fireplaces and install heat pumps, and they give incentives for home remodels for energy efficiency and for like lawn equipment that's gas to convert to electric. So has anyone ever applied for those?
I have 4 tons of wood.
Oh, okay.
We live just
They
outside.
subsidize my charging station.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah.
It's a
Sonoma County area.
Within a mile, I think, of the border.
Okay, I just looked it up. Those are all 9 of the Republicans.
Those are all
from
Republican.
California. California, had 53. It went down to 52 after the last census.
Yeah.
And so now there are 9 Republicans and the rest 43 Democrats.
So these are the ones that. So we need to find friends that can send a letter out to those folks and let them know what we're thinking. All right, what's the next slide? Is there another one, or do we start getting into the facts? Aha.
Well, we've only got.
So I think we got about 10 minutes. I think we just do this another day. That's what I think.
For write-in,
Yeah, what do you got?
well, I don't know how many people are not on the discussion board, but the Tesla superchargers are now open in Sebastopol.
Yeah.
And I've checked it 2 or 3 times, and it's at 43 cents. So I think that Tesla announced a slight reduction a couple months ago, or we talked about how there was a slight reduction. I'm sure it will adjust. So
Is this discussion forum on Facebook?
No, it's on NBEAA-discuss at googlegroups.com.
It's a Google email group.
So you can join the Google group.
Google group, huh? Okay.
Yeah, an email mailing list.
Yeah. So the Sebastopol superchargers have been very lightly used, I'd say, 2 to 3 cars at a time out of 12. Yeah. Yeah. But anybody driving would see them now, I would assume. But,
Yeah, I saw 5 last week when I went by.
and there's another one in Katati as well, right at the Octagon.
Oh, really?
Well, it'd be interesting
Next
to
to
try the
Jen's
6
Joy.
o'clock. 6 p.m.
Uh-huh.
To see if the rate changes, because the utility rate, and I'm not sure how they have done the utility charges between Horse and Only Green Power, Horse and Only Green Power, yeah. Because I don't know the schedule. Everybody, I believe, all new accounts have to be time of use.
But Tesla doesn't have to be. The superchargers don't have to be. They can be whatever they want to be.
Well, they can be whatever they want to be, but the
They have to
utility
charge per
charges
kilowatt.
have to be time of use.
Right.
There's no schedules that
Yeah,
are tiered
right.
schedules.
Oh.
At least
Yeah.
not in residential.
But that's right, in residential, I would say in
Right.
commercial, it would be something different. So
different,
that'd be
yeah.
interesting to find out.
Yeah.
That's why I said,
Yeah.
try one of the, during one of the time of use periods.
Yeah.
The charge change here, 43 cents a kilowatt hour compared to any of the other places I've used, like I ran out of my free time with Electrify America.
You finally did?
I did it on my last trip.
What'd you get, like 500 kilowatt hours?
I got 1,000 kilowatt hours. So I went through those, and so I started getting billed, and it's like 53 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah. Sonia, where do you find that? Is it on your Tesla app, the price of a charging station?
It's on the screen of the car when you see a charger. But also you can go to tesla.com/charging and choose find us from that page.
Okay.
And it gives you a full US map. I'm on cellular here. And I think if you just pick your spot, it'll tell you in that moment what the price is. But they kind of make it hard for you to like take all their data.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. I'm not having fun right now searching for this group. What's the name of the group?
Can you scroll to the page, Cecilia, and put it on the screen?
Or Linda, if you
no, it's in the it's like page 3 of this
It's
deck.
in every deck.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in every deck. Then I'll just get on the PDF of the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can go to go to a previous meeting, you'll find it.
Actually, Linda, if you go to the NBEAA website,
yeah, it's there.
You can also find it there, a link to the Google group.
Yeah.
So let me ask you,
There you
guys
go.
with EV6,
Cecilia
do you
posted
have
it there
an
for you.
adapter to be able to use
I
that?
don't have the adapter yet.
Do they have it available?
Yeah, it'll
They
be
have it
available this month.
Yeah.
From Kia.
From Kia.
I think Kia now is putting the actual receptor in the car.
The new cars, both the Kias and the
53 cents.
Ionic, have the NEX, but I kind of like the other one.
Yeah.
Well, again,
So
they're kicking out the CCS.
Yeah, everybody's going to CCS.
Yeah, okay.
They're all kicking out of CCS. All the manufacturers. I don't know if the manufacturer who has
They've all opted into NATS. I posted a YouTube on the discussion group. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. A new EV6 or a Ionic 5 and a Model 3.
That's right.
Both went to side by side at a supercharger station. And they didn't, I forget if they showed the power curves, but basically on the same supercharger, the EV6 charges faster than the Tesla did at the same
but you notice if you watch the video that the Tesla stopped charging 6.
That's right.
The owner had to recognize that the Tesla station stopped charging and start a second session in order to charge up the vehicle.
Yeah.
And plus, the number of kilowatts that he gets out of a Tesla charge station is way lower than I get out of an Electrify America.
About half.
It's like half.
About half.
So it takes you twice as long to charge at a Tesla station than to Electrify America.
Yeah, it's a very interesting video.
Right? Or are they all
Electrify America
downward?
is pretty hard to find one that's not 350.
That's right.
Gotcha. Well, Tesla's. What I understand is that we're all manufactured at different times, and they're all set up at different kilowatts, and so you might get 150, or you might get 250, or whatever. So
those black and white.
You can look it up.
They're fast. They should be fast.
The
ones that.
The Katani one is also available today, and it's 325 kilowatt maximum, but it's 60 cents. And then Sebastopol's 53 cents.
What's the rate of Sebastopol?
53 right now.
Per kilowatt hour?
It was 43 the other day.
No, not the cost. The
per
kilowatt.
325.
Oh, 325.
Maximum.
Wait.
But that doesn't tell you what they might.
So they're charging per time unit.
No, per kilowatt hour.
Well, per kilowatt or per kilowatt hour?
No, per kilowatt hour.
Energy.
But so that's actually really interesting.
It's
So if your battery is a 60 kilowatt hour battery, it's not a 60 kilowatt battery.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait, your car.
Yeah.
You still have a gas car, right?
Hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid. Okay, so you put gas in it, right?
Yeah.
How fast is the gas going in that tank?
I've never even paid attention.
Well, in an EV, you care because you want to know how long am I going to be sitting there? Because how fast am I going to put the gas into the tank? Now, how big a tank do you have? If you have a 500-gallon tank, well, in the airplane, I flew once in the Central Valley and stopped to fill up my tank. It's a 37-gallon tank. And it was filling at about a quart a minute. So it was going to take quite a long time. So I flew to another airport where it pumps faster. The difference between kilowatts and kilowatt hours is kilowatts is how fast is a pump. Kilowatt hours is how much did you put in there? Right?
I was trying to figure out, because I thought Sonia said it was 60 cents kilowatt hour versus 53 cents a kilowatt hour.
Or 40.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't so much about
Per kilowatt.
time, but about cost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if the battery is 50 kilowatts or 50 kilowatt hours, and it, like, I'm just trying to figure out what the difference cost was to fill up a battery.
So
Yeah.
the unit price is 53 cents versus 60 cents.
Okay.
And the total price is going to be based on how many miles you ride with your car,
Okay.
and how many miles you want to leave with. And so it's always going to be a little different. Like today I need 150 miles, tomorrow I need 180 miles. It's always going to be a little different.
It's a $3.50 difference, given what you just said.
And the home rate in the winter time is 30-some cents a kilowatt hour at night. And the difference in the residential rate between peak and off peak in the winter isn't a lot. In the summer, it gets huge, the difference.
Which is the reason you still should change your
I
schedule.
know, I haven't done it yet.
You were,
Yeah.
that's how much.
But I am charging at night.
I know, but you're
Daytime.
not.
I'm charging the
That's
daytime.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, but you could, if you change your schedule, you'll be charging less during the time that you're charging the car. If you're paying less. Yeah.
So because the primary fuel for my vehicle is gas, I think of it in terms of miles, like how many miles I drive a year.
Yeah.
But
Same thing for an EV.
Oh, so you guys don't think of it in terms of kilowatts or kilowatt hours you drive a year?
No, I think of it in terms of miles, and I divide by 4.
Well, by 4.
Well, because I get 4 miles per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
Pretty much both cars get 4 miles per kilowatt hour, unless you have a Tesla, in which case you get about 3.2 miles per kilowatt hour.
Okay, so if you drive how many 10,000 miles a year?
And then 10,000 miles a year, I'm
He's
going to
lying.
use 2,500 kilowatt hours.
Okay, 2,500.
And since I have solar panels on the house,
times
I
50
average.
cents a kilowatt.
Yeah.
If you went to the charging station. that's-
Well, I think we've kind of devolved here a little
If
bit.
I'm doing it at
So
home, I pay more like.
sorry about that. David, I'm planning to get a what they call a
20 kilowatt hours.
an owl, which allows us to remote the mic, and I'll try to get the mic bury the mic into the crowd next time. But the mic and cameras are they're about $1,000, so I'll need to get reimbursed for that. But I do want to do that. It's on my list. Your question is.
Pick up a collection?
Oh, no, I mean, we could, the company or the organization will pay for it. That's not the issue, but we got to get reimbursed for it, so.
It is today.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I think we can wrap up. So
Yeah.
let's see, next month, John, the VP, can we meet here again so we can get a final plan on Earth Day? And I don't know if there's a topic yet. We have to come up with a topic.
We can still do the FAQ.
We still do the FAQ next time as well. And I think that's it.
Okay, the only thing is,
What else you
any
got?
links that are bad in the deck before I make it PDF, please.
Yes,
Links.
yes.
I will add John as an officer, and I
Woohoo.
will relate in our recap about the contentious election.
And
Yes.
maybe we could aim for a meeting owl by early April.
Yeah, I think so.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
It's going to make it really
I
nice.
think it will, yeah, yeah.
Do we need anybody
Okay,
to do
I
the
think you
purchase?
can,
I mean, like,
I think you can take it off now. Thank you, guys.
Right, but I just